Hey, this video is going to show you how to build a plate on the wheel. So after you have centered it and you have coned it up and then you have brought it down, we're at that next step, okay? So you're going to need all the tools that you needed it for centering on your wheel, plus you're going to need a ruler, your dowel rod, and this wooden rib tool, which you might not have received yet, so we'll get those for our toolkits. You're also going to get something that looks like this for each wheel to go through these steps one by one that I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so you ready? With your sponge, your water, and your towel and smock, let's get started. I want to begin after being sure that my clay is centered to flatten my clay. So I'm going to use my hand that's dominant. I'm going to hold my sponge in it like this, and then put my other hand on it like a hi-ya to start to flatten my clay. You want to push down so that there's not a mound at the center. You can kind of see that. So you might need to use the tips of your hands and then slowly move outwards. This is not only going to push it out, it's also going to make it wider. If you're finding that you're getting this bubble like you have here at the center of your clay, that's where your dowel rod comes in. Make sure that your clay is moist. Hold your dowel rod firm. Put it up against your clay, but don't push too much, otherwise you're going to get rid of too much clay. And push down. And you're going to slowly start to bring your dowel rod out. You might get some clay on it, just rinse it off, add some more water, and try it again. I'm going to add some more water to my clay. I can also push down with the flat of my hand. I gotta kind of recenter it because there's some areas that I notice that aren't quite centered. Now I want this to be, half an inch thick. It's way too thick right now. If we turn it off and measure it, we'll see that it's about an inch and a quarter. So we're gonna have to bring that down a full inch. Really use your gut and push into it. Start from the center and move out. Use that dowel rod. Push down as well. Move outwards. Be steady. Be firm. Go all the way out. All right. Once you've got it about that half inch, you'll see I'm just kind of cleaning up the edge. I'm going to turn it off. We can see it's about a half inch thick. Good. Whoops, I'm sorry, you can't see that. You can see it's about a half inch thick, a little bit thicker than that, but that's okay. And then measure across. You want it to be about 8 inches wide. We're gonna just do a little bit more just to bring it wider and to flatten it just a little bit further. I'm gonna use my sponge. I'm gonna start from the center. I'm gonna move out. to create this disc. If there's extra clay like that, just get your sponge wet and pick it up. Okay. You don't want it to be thicker in the middle and thinner along the edges, so just make sure that you give a little bit more pressure sometimes in the middle, because then it tends to kind of build up there. Okay, now I've created this nice big disc. Now you're going to use this tool. I'm going to take this edge and I flip it around, and this part I'm going to line up against the edge of my disc. And you can start kind of at an angle to clean up some of that edge. And then slowly bring it up. So you can see that there's a little bit of an edge. You can also take your sponge and bring it up against the edge to raise that lip up a little bit. I'm going to use my fingers to lift that lip. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of a lip. If you want a thicker lip, then just continue to press on the edge. And then you're going to take your sponge at the end and hold it to flatten out the edge of your plate. I'm just going to clean up my clay. I'll lay the sponge along the edge. I'm actually going to bring up a little bit of my lip here by using my fingers on the inside and my fingers on the outside, just to create a little bit of that raise. And then I can use my sponge to clean that up. And when you're done, this is also part of the tricky part. Unfortunately, we don't have a bat that we can just take this off with. So after you use your wire, hold it as taut as possible and cut underneath, like so. This wire, or this wheel, does not spin, so this is going to be a little bit harder. Your wheel will allow you to spin it, but you grab a bat. Those are over by the sponges and the buckets. Take the edge of your rib tool and slide it underneath your plate. Go all the way around, and then slowly lift it off and put it on your bat. Then you want to put this with a plastic bag over it so that that can dry out. You want it to get to a leather hard stage. And then it's time for cleanup. Have fun.